Yes,
We can. Well, let me go ahead and give her proper introduction. She is a coach. She was a contestant. She is a commentator. She is a champion. Don't put baby in a corner, and certainly don't ever call her an underdog. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, she is a reigning, defending, undisputed 135-pound women's champion, Spokane proud, the one and only Venezuelan vixen, Julianna Pena. Julianna, pleasure to have you here on the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's our pleasure, man. Our pleasure indeed. And, we were actually just talking a little bit about the Ultimate Fighter season that you're certainly making a lot of fans with your coaching prowess on there. First question I want to throw at you. You were a contestant. Now you're a coach. What did your experience on the show as a contestant do to help you, in terms of coaching? How did you parallel your time from coaching and being a contestant in coaching? How did you work the two together?
It was a little bit difficult because I'm sitting there thinking about my rematch and wanting to just train myself the whole time. But then I just got 8 new babies that I needed to take care of. So I was trying to focus all my attention on taking care of my new chickadees and then also focus my attention on my rematch with Amanda. So it was kind of a little bit of a shift in mentalities where it's like, all right, it's not about you for a second. And it's about making sure that this team represents you the best that they can based on my coaching ability. And so that became my focus. And that was quite easy for me.
Now, when you were on the show, and I noticed there was a lot of the drama between Misha and Rhonda. And I know this season with you and Amanda, I know there had been some of the, I'm going to say the internet drawn drama that they tried to make more than it really is. But you guys have kept it pretty low key this season. You've made it all about the men and the women on the show, and I commend you for that. I think you've done an exceptional job as a coach. And I think, you used your own experiences on the show to look, I don't want to put these men and women through that. So again, I commend you. I think you've done a hell of a job as a coach. And I mean, I'm going to use one name on there, my friend Bobby Maximus. I saw the grind he went through on season 2 where I thought he went through some lacking coaching from Matt Hughes when he got hurt. And I've heard him rave about the coaching job you've done for him when he was on the show, then women weren't even a thing. Then I commend you for the coaching you've done. My hat's off to you. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think that, look, it's been on air for 30 seasons. That's a lot, so the show has evolved, whereas like before guys were getting, wasted and breaking doors and acting a fool, it's kind of evolved into like this new thing where it's not so much about the drama and beating up people inside the house. It's more about acting appropriately, putting your best foot forward for America to see, and then also making sure that you're performing your best and making sure that you're winning your fights, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So I think that after 30 seasons, it's kind of evolved to be more like less drama and more about the fights and more about the fighters and getting to know their backstories. And I think that was really well documented this season. And definitely my idea is to make sure that everybody got the best possible experience that they could while being on the show. And, I know that Bobby didn't have the best time in season 2, but I did try to focus a lot of attention on him when it was his fight coming up and, kind of let everybody do their own thing afterwards, whether they were still in the competition or not. They had the option to continue to learn, or if they wanted to do their own thing, they could. And so I just kind of left it up into the fighters' hands of what they wanted to do. And if they wanted to drill and train and learn some more, they could. And if they wanted to lift weights and do their own thing, they could. But the most important thing was just making sure that my team won and making sure that my team was getting their hand raised at any and all costs.
I'm going to kick it to Carlos here in a second, but I did want to throw one more question about Bobby because him and...
Are you breaking out for a second, Jay?
Okay. I'm going to throw one more question to you about Bobby. He was one of my first friends in MMA way back in 2003 when I was an aspiring journalist here in this sport. And I've wished nothing but success for that guy. 43 years old, hadn't fought since 2009. When I saw his name pop up as being a cast member, I was like, okay, that's not something I expected in the T cards for this year. But you took him under your wing. And what was the biggest thing you took away from Bobby being motivated? I mean, what was the biggest thing you took away from having the chance to coach him? And I mean, what was the biggest thing he brought to the table as being part of your team?
I think one of the things that Bobby did very well is he's already been in the game. And so he kind of knows how it goes and how to best present yourself to America and to television, because he had been on it before. He was getting a second go around. So if you notice, if it ever comes to Bobby, everything that he says is on point. Everything that he says is perfect. And everything that he says is like really like specific to exactly what they're talking about. And he hits it. So when the viewer sees it, you're like, man, this guy's like on point with everything that he's saying, because he's kind of had those moments before. So what I really loved about Bobby is not only was he a hard worker, but he's extremely coachable and he really believes in himself. And that to me was motivating and really inspiring to watch him, you know, get back inside the octagon after 13 years. I don't know anybody besides Bobby that would literally, you know, agree to sign up again, leave his family behind again, and go on a television show surrounded by, you know, primarily a bunch of young people that are, you know, gunning to take his head off of his shoulders. And he did it with enthusiasm. He did it with a smile on his face. He had a great attitude the entire time, and he gave it his all. Literally, when he went out there, he gave it his all. And like, honestly, aside from a tiny little mistake, as you guys know, this is a game of inches. Aside from that tiny little mistake, like, he absolutely could have won that fight. Like, honestly, like, he could have won that fight if he would have just, you know, settled down once he got into that mount position and held his position. He absolutely could have ran away and came up with the upset at 43 years old and after not stepping in the octagon for 13 years. So you guys know just as well as I do, it's a coin flip in there. Anything can happen. And for a second there, I was 1,000% like, oh, he's actually gonna do it. Like, he really is gonna do this right now, you know. So you know, hopefully that's not the last time that we see Bobby, and I would absolutely love to see him get back in there if that's something that he wants to do. And he knows that he has my support. And I did say that if you want to go back again, you know, you have my full support. If you don't, you know, there's no shame in that. But I know that all of my coaches were like, this guy's got big balls of steel, you know what I mean? Because it's a scary thing to get back in there after years. So I absolutely commend him. He absolutely has my respect.
Absolutely. And I mean, you summarized it best. I had him winning that fight. I had him winning that fight up until that one punch. And we all know that, I mean, Perez don't exactly love Tapia. So he was absolutely more than holding his own. And I'm watching that fight. I got my 9-year-old in bed. I woke my 9-year-old. When he hit that takedown seconds into the fight, I'm like, yes. My son comes out, what's wrong, Dad? I'm like, no, go back to bed. He's like, no, he stood up and watched with me. He doesn't know anything about MMA. He's cheering too. I'm like a kid at Christmas Day. So I'm with you. I can only imagine you as his coach was thinking the same thing. All right. See, I knew what I was doing picking that fight.
Well, it was hilarious because that was the fight that he wanted. That was a fight that he asked for. I was like, are you sure, man? Like, he's like, I want the number one. I want the number one. And so we're like, all right. So we gave him what he wanted. But at the same time, you know, when he took him down, like, he kept telling us he was going to take him down. And I was like, you know, Eduardo Perez is a real big boy. And so when he told me that he was going to take him down, it was kind of like, I haven't seen you fight. It's been 13. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it. You know what I mean? But when he got in there and he took him down, I was like, he actually did what he said he was going to do. He killed it, you know? So he was doing great. And it was a coin flip. He was doing an amazing job. And like I said before, Bobby absolutely has all my respect.
Absolutely. Well, Carlos, I've chewed her ear about Bobby Maximus. A lot of other things I want to talk about too to her, but Carlos, I'm going to let you jump in and ask a few questions, and I got some other stuff I want to chat with her about too as well. So, Carlos, jump in here, buddy, because I know she's
questions. Are you expecting a different Amanda tonight at your fight? And also, who do you want to fight next? And who's in your women's pound for pound list?
I want to fight Amanda next, and I
after you beat her.
think that we're gonna see a bigger, better, faster, stronger version of Amanda Nunes than the world has ever seen before. I absolutely take her with 100% seriousness, and I know that she's gonna be coming for me, and I'm gonna be coming for her. So it's gonna be a clash of the Titans on July 30th, and I'm coming with everything. And as far as my pound for pound list, I don't really think about. No one's ever asked me that, and I've never actually put any thought to it. So I would have to think more on that because I don't know.
So Julianna, this time you're the hunted. Before you were the hunter. Do you feel like there's any extra pressure, a bit more pressure on you this time? Being okay, you went out there and shocked the world last time. Now the belt's on your shoulder. See, do you feel like you have a bigger target coming in as the champ?
Absolutely. Yes, there is a massive target on my back, but that was a position that I had been gunning for. That's the position that I've been wanting. And that's, the position that is my job to keep. Once you get to the top of the mountain, it's my job to kick everybody off of it and make sure that no one is able to climb it. So there's, of course, a gigantic target on my back. It's the target that I asked for. So now I just have to, put the smile on and realize that I am, not being forced to do this. No one's putting a gun up to my head. This is something that is my life's work. This is a pleasure for me, and I get the opportunity to do this. There's so many people that would love an opportunity to be in this situation, and so for me, it's a blessing. And not only is it a blessing, but I take it at 110% seriousness. You said that I was the hunter before, and now I'm the hunted, but I look at it the other way, and I would say that I am actually the hunter still. I have that challenger mindset, and I'm the champion, and I'm going to stay the champion. And the way to do that is to continue to keep that humbleness about me, to make sure that I'm doing anything and everything possible to make sure that my hand gets raised. And that means taking Amanda at 110% seriousness at all times, because she is very dangerous.
I like that you mentioned humbleness. I like that you mentioned humbleness, because sometimes people get to that level, and your journey has been a very hard one. It's been the path less traveled. I mean, you went through several debilitating injuries after the Ultimate. You went on the Ultimate Fighter, where you were a bit of an underdog in your own right. I mean, that fight you were thrown in there against Shayna Baszler, who, I remember when that show aired, she was the dog that she was the one that everybody was hunting. You knocked her out. You wound up winning the whole show. Then you had through some debilitating injuries. You had the long climb to the top. And now that you're there, I mean, it would have been easy for a lot of people to get there and like, all right, now excuse my language here, my shit don't stink. But you're still the same Julianna I remember interviewing back in Phoenix on NBC Sports Radio. You still got that same humble mentality. And to me, the fact that you still feel like you're the hunter, I'm looking forward to seeing it here in the rematch, because I think, beating her once is one thing. Beating her twice, that's I think you're very well prepared to make that happen.
Yeah, and thank you. It is my job. You know what I mean? My job is to make sure that I'm meeting these training demands. My job is to make sure that I'm meeting these media demands. But at the end of the day, the fight is the most important thing. And I wake up every day getting the opportunity to train 3 times a day, 6 days a week. And when you put in that much work and when you put in that much time, there's nothing really left to fear. And I'm just ready for them to say, go. Because I know how hard I've been working, and I know what I've done to get to this point. And, it's very much something that is in my capabilities to grasp and to take and to cement my legacy and to just go out there and solidify my name.
So my question for you here then is, and I know you don't ever want to put cart before the horse. That's not your nature. That's never been your nature. But Amanda is considered by and large the GOAT of women's MMA. You beat her twice, which is rare air. I know you're humble. That's always been you. But you beat her twice. Deep down, you be thinking, all right, all you people that doubted me along, it's time to start putting a little bit more respect on my name, right? I mean, you got to be thinking that a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I was going to get the respect the first time, but these MMA fans, they're never happy. It's never enough. Everyone thinks it was a fluke. Everyone thinks that it was just, the sky was, more bluer that day, and Julianna fell from the sky and she beat Amanda, but that's because, XYZ for this and Amanda. And, that's okay. That's why we're doing it again. That's why I asked for this fight. That's why I'm having this round 2 to prove to everybody that it wasn't just a fluke, that it wasn't something that I just, happened to just fall on that day and she tripped on a banana peel. This is something that I've been calling for 5 years. This is something that I said was going to happen. I said what I was going to do 5 years ago. I said what I was going to do before the fight. And then I did everything that I said I was going to do, and I backed it up. And so this is just my chance once again to hush the naysayers up, to solidify my name, and to go out there and say, hey, Amanda's era was then, and it was great. And I respect what she's done for the sport, and I absolutely respect her as an athlete. But right now it's my era. Right now it's my time. It's the Pena power time. And I'm just trying to focus on that and making sure that, I get my hand raised at any and all costs, and I'm willing to go out there and do everything that I have to do to make sure that happens.
You watched Vision Quest before, right? Everybody watched Vision Quest, right? You've seen it.
It was actually filmed in my hometown, Spokane, Washington.
Yep. As I was going to throw this reference out there, it was filmed in your hometown. Loudon Swain beat Shoot in a rematch. Nobody ever talks about that, right? So you're going to beat Shoot in a rematch too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan, right? That's what I'm working for, or else it was all for nothing. And I don't think it's all for nothing. I think that there's a purpose for me, and I'm being used, and my being used is for the greater good of everybody, and for the universe, and for everyone to see that, you know, you can't keep a good dog down.
That's right. That's right. You don't put baby in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
I love that phrase. And I got to throw one more thing out there. And I know this is those people, those of you watching this that are going to bring up that comment. All you need to calm down. This is the nicest, most humble-minded person, and you know what comment I'm talking about. Everybody's making much do about nothing. This woman has a ton of respect for Amanda as a person. So you guys are bringing up that comment. And I'm going to let her, I'm not speaking on your behalf, but I sort of am here. I've met you in person. I've interviewed you a number of times. She's taking time out to speak to us now. I know we live in a climate of 2022 where people paint words. She meant nothing negative by that. She has respect for Amanda as a human being and as a mother. So there was nothing to see about that. So guys, calm down. And I'm saying that as me, not for her.
Thank you. I don't know which comment you're talking about, but I appreciate it.
Go ahead, Carlos. You got anything for her, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. I wasn't sure if Jakar wanted to ask her a question, but I'm good.
All right. I'll throw a couple more questions for you, Julianna, and I know you got a busy schedule to let you go here. Those that have never seen, those that have, you know, and I got a 20-year-old daughter who has got confidence issues. I'm going to have her watch this fight because you've been the underdog story, and I've showed her that underdogs can do anything. She's tuning in for the first time. Anybody that's tuning in for the first time that'll be watching you, what words do you have to say to those people? What words do you say that why should they watch the Julianna Pena fight?
You know, first and foremost, we are two mothers that, you know, have raised our children in homes full of love. And the fact that we get in a fist fight for, you know, cash, the fact that we're fighters and that we're headlining in a main event in Dallas, Texas, that's kind of a big deal for a woman. It should make all women proud. It should make all mothers proud. It should make, you know, anybody that has ever, you know, wanted something in life that actually went out there and fought for it. It should make them proud. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in fighting, whether it was for that promotion or for a job or getting good grades or becoming a doctor, whatever it is, you have fought for something in life, or you've wanted to fight for something in life. So I would just like to be that voice for women to know that you can actually make your dreams come true, and that nothing is out of the realm of possibility as long as you believe it in your heart, and as long as you're willing to put in the work to back it up. You know, this is, like you said, a long time coming, and this has been something that I've been working for a long time. It's not something that has just happened overnight. I've been working actively for this for 13 years. So I just want to be that voice to say, you can do it. You absolutely can do it, because if I can do it, then you can do it. And as long as you believe it, and as long as you put in the work, no one's going to hand you anything in this life. It's your job to go out there and snatch it and take it. And I just want them to know that, you know, you can do anything that you set your mind to, because that's what my mom told me. And it's that belief system that she instilled in me that, you know, helped me get this belt in the first place.
Absolutely. Last question for you then. Ultimate Fighter, we talked about it. I turned it into, you know, Bobby Maximus, but there's been a lot of studs on this season, men and women. Final couple episodes here. We're in the semis. We already saw Zach, one of your fighters, Zach Powell, go to former NFL standout, former Colorado State stud, punch his ticket to the finals. If anybody hasn't tuned in yet on ESPN Plus, besides your expertise in coaching, one of the better coaches I've seen so far, what should they expect to see, without any spoilers, obviously, but why should they tune in, and what can they expect to see in the upcoming episodes?
You know, the UFC put me in charge to find the next biggest up and coming stars. And that was a job that I took very seriously. My job is to find these standouts, to find these diamonds in the rough, and to expose them to the world and say, hey, you need to keep your eyes on these guys, because this is the next generation of up and coming fighters. I took that job very seriously. And when you finally see who's in the finale, you guys are going to see some standout people that will be in the UFC for years to come. And they're kind of like the little gift to the UFC world as far as the next up and coming fighters goes. And next is the next generation. So it's really exciting to see. It's nice to see, you know, that I got to work with these guys, you know, in terms of their careers being respectively new and opening their eyes to the UFC and the lights and everything like that. And it was just overall fun to get the opportunity to coach them and kind of, you know, bring them along to what they're going to expect in the UFC. So I can't wait for you guys to see who's going to be in the finale, and I think you guys are going to be really excited.
Hey, she's been a gift to the UFC from day one. Now she's giving us more gifts. She's like the gift that keeps on giving. She is the Loudon Swain of women's MMA, and she'll be fighting and defending her UFC women's 135-pound championship here on July 30th. If I'm not mistaken. I probably got the date wrong. I've been punching ahead a few times. When is that?
30.
July 30th.
July 30th. I got it right. So, hey, she is Julianna Pena. Julianna, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Next time you're in Philly, let me know. I'll grab you. We'll have to say hello, huh?
All right. Thank you guys so much for the time. I really do appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
See you out there.
And hey, we know this face. When the young face, I'd like to say hello to, but we've got one beast, and we've got another future champ in the house. First and foremost, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce at this time a man I've got to know quite well over the years. I've called quite a few of his fights. I've had him in the studio, and I like to consider this guy a gentleman, a scholar, a monster in the cage, but a gentleman outside of it. The icon himself, Drakkar Klose, and little Drakkar in the house, a future champion. And is that right? What's going on, Drakkar? How you doing, brother?
What up? What up? I thought you were gonna say a freak in the sheets. No.
Well, see, I that very well may be the case, and I'm sure that may apply. But if I said it, it would probably not sit too well with certain demographic of popularity. But you were a freak in the cage. You were definitely a freak in the cage.
How you guys doing?
Pretty
Good
good.
to
How are
chat
you?
to you again, brother. How you been? A long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm doing great, man. Just preparing and helping my teammates and everyone get ready for their fights. We got Jared coming up this week. Hopefully he wins that belt.
Yeah, before we start talking about your fight, I actually want to, talk about that a little bit. Jared, you've got trained with him for a while now over at the MMA Lab and about. Adesanya has been the riddle that nobody has been able to solve so far. But, man, Jared Cannonier is a different kind of animal. What do you think he brings to the table that might be able to solve that riddle?
Man, just his mindset, man. Everything starts up here. If you believe it, you can do it. And like before he left, I told him that he's a big inspiration to me, because just seeing him going from heavyweight to middleweight, or light heavyweight now to middleweight, you know what I mean? Like, that's tough, and he's been a killer at every single weight. So I think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's something too, is Adesanya has faced some big dudes, but if I remember, Jared wasn't a 265 heavyweight, but I remember he debuted in the company. I know he was pushing at least 250, so this was he wasn't a smallish heavyweight, but now you're talking to a guy who's fighting at 185 pounds, so he's got to be towering over these dudes. And Adesanya, he won't, it's going to be, when he hits you, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, Jared's used to getting hit by bigger guys, you know what I mean? So, these guys, they're a lot smaller. I mean, he's the same weight, but you know what I mean? He's used to feeling, a little bit more power. So, I think it should be a great fight.
Absolutely.
What is he snacking on right there?
A little, what is that? A little protein bar.
Nice.
Yeah. Get him started ready. He's the future champ, man. He's the future of this world, brother.
I don't know. He's a little crybaby.
Oh, he's munching on Dad's chin here, man. Just like Jared, just like you're gonna be munching on Carlos Diego Ferreira's here on July 30th, man.
Yes, sir. I can't wait. I think it's a great matchup for me. He's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
I had that long little layoff, but got the victory, and just in a great mental space right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Is right in the 3-fight losing streak, but to his credit, I mean, these were against the upper echelon of the division. So to beat him, you got to be, and I know you are upper echelon. I mean, you've been upper echelon since day one. So what do you think the win over it does for your stock?
I don't know, because right now, I mean, I'm not sure if he's ranked now because of the movement that just happened over the weekend. I know he was 15. He might not be 15 anymore, but you know what I mean? It just, just get me one more step closer to fighting Beneil again, when I went into that fight with Beneil, I wasn't 100%. I had torn my shoulder a month out, and I could have pulled out of that fight, but I still thought I could beat him. So, you know what I mean? I'm healthy now. Everything's good. I'm back at the lab. Just everything's going great. Life's good. I can't complain.
Yeah, my brother, you got a beautiful family. You got, your mind's in the right place. I mean, we all know the skill is there. I mean, so I think you're in a position to where you can't lose right now.
No, I think I really think this is a good matchup. Only chance he has, he's gonna want to try to get me to the ground. This is probably the first time like where, a lot of interviews, a lot of these fighters, they lie and about how they really are, but this is the first time, I've really, studied tape. I'm training like I was when I was 16 years old again. You know what I mean? Like trying to get back to the roots of things and what got me here, and that's made me happy, and it's definitely going to showcase the 30th. He's slow on his feet. Really, I don't think he has anything really for me.
Not anything you haven't seen before.
Not to sound cocky, but really, I really don't think he's too slow. He's too slow.
Right. And I mean, and that's you brought up a good point earlier. You know what his bread and butter is. You know what he's going to bring to the table. You know what he's looking for.
Yep.
But how do you, without giving too much away, how do you think you're braced for that? How do you think you're equipped for that? And I know the answer to this, but I want the world to know it.
You know what I mean? Like all those fights he doesn't take people down. He gets taken down. He's comfortable with people taking him down because he's going to try to either go for a heel hook or something like that. If I take him down, let him stand up. I'm going to punch him 3 or 4 times, take him back down. Just keep doing that. He's eventually going to – he gasses out every fight. I like to push the pace. Hopefully, his cardio, he's out there, running, trying to keep his cardio. But not to sound cocky, I just don't think he's ready for me. I think I'm going to give him his walking papers.
Absolutely. And you said that, you alluded to a little bit ago. Now, again, not to put the cart before the horse, but you mentioned Beneil Dariush. That's something you're looking forward to when you win this fight. You want to run that back with Benny when you pick this win up?
Of course, I would love to fight Beneil. You know what I mean? Like, if you look back, I'm the only person that gave Beneil a run for his money. You know what I mean? Like, he ran through everyone else. It's like, but things happen the way they do. Just, you know what I mean? Like, now I just had to go back and just rethink things and come with better game plans, and, I think with those 2 years off and then coming back and fighting Brandon Jenkins, I got to showcase a little bit, mental, like being patient, I wasn't trying to go too crazy, but there was a spurt sometimes where I just went too crazy in that fight. But with this one, it makes me want to wake up early in the morning and, go for that run and, put that extra work because he has that number 15 next to his name.
And the one thing I've noticed about you, and I've seen your career from its early infancy phases. I mean, I remember, and I'm dropping movie references left and right here. I remember watching, your fight back with Josh Rada, calling your fight, commentating and yelling, "Somebody stop the damn fight." That kid is, but and I've followed you for a long time. One thing I know about you is you get better and better every fight. And I remember, going back to the draw you had and, the Tamer fight, and I'm not trying to bring up the negatives, but you're the guy who I say you learn a lot, as much about yourself during adversity as you do during success. And you're the type of guy that you suffer adversity and you come back and you work 5 times as hard to overcome that. So, you know, you've learned from every single, and not that they've been, you know, many, they've been few and far between, but those, I don't even want to call them setbacks, those learning experiences, you've catapulted to greater success. So, I mean, you took the 2 years off, you came back in your fight with Jenkins, you were totally, it was 2 years, but you were totally revitalized. It was almost like I was looking at not a completely different fighter, but it was a fighter that had a whole bunch of new chips in his arsenal, you know, and that's one thing I've always respected about you is, you know, some fighters, they suffer a loss and it goes off the rails. Not you.
You know, I don't like losing. You know, I really haven't lost too much in my life. You know what I mean? Just, you know, in high school, I was 205 and 15, you know, 15 losses in 4 years. And most of those were, you know, my freshman year. But you know what I mean? I've always been a winner and always find a way to win. And, you know, like I always joke, like I really don't have a fight style. You know, I just go in there and fight. You know what I mean? When I watch these guys, they're sitting there back and forth. Like me, it's like, let's fight. I'm kind of like Gaethje, you know what I mean? Like, let's see who's gonna, you know, walk out with their hand raised.
Yeah. Hey, this fight style, this isn't a dating site. It's a fight, man. Let's get out there and let's see who survives, you know?
Yeah, because you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get hit, so I'd rather dictate when I'm gonna get hit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit there and stand in your range and let you do your things to me. Fuck that. I'm just gonna push the pace and try to do what I have to.
No, I'm not trying to get hit. Let's see, you know, yeah, it's exciting possibly for us watching, but at the same time, you possibly get cut, you get concussions, you get possibly run the risk of getting caught. No, I'm good, man. I'll be the one dishing it out, and you can be the one getting concussed. You can be the one getting the cuts. You can be the one that's going to be medically suspended. You know, you can be the one that's looking up at the lights at the end of the night.
Yeah, even though Benil put me like that, but it is what it is. You know, like you said, I learned a lot from that. You know, hands down, man down. So.
Hey, you know what? If the worst thing you can say is Benil's done that to a lot of people, man. There's a reason people are talking about whether Benil should be next man up to fight for that title. So, I mean, you know, and you learned a lot from that. And I have a suspicion if you do run it back, they're going to be talking about you, whether you should be fighting, you should be fighting Charlie Olives. You could say that one of your losses is to Benil Dariush. Nobody likes to lose, and I know you hate it as much as anybody, but there is such a thing as a quality L, and that's as quality as it gets.
Yeah, if you say so, but I'd rather have my name in that winner's circle over you know, having that loss. Yeah, quality win is a lot better.
Yeah, quality win sounds a hell of a lot better than a quality. I mean, win always sounds better than an L. I mean, in any circumstance beyond the book, but like you said, you learned a hell of a lot from it, and you're going to grow much more from it. And you know, I said when you guys run it back, it's going to be a different narrative. We're going to be talking about a different ball game.
Yep, and you know, and just with age, you know, I know I got Kingston now, and you know he's getting older, so you know I can't, you know, be thinking the same way I was 3 or 4 years ago.
Absolutely.
You know, I gotta be around for him when he's older, so can't be out wilding and doing stupid things. So.
I've got a question. Got a question. What sports are you getting him into? Is he ready yet for wrestling, or he's playing soccer,
right? He played soccer.
Yeah.
He does jiu-jitsu sometimes. Oh, nice. He does striking. He loves to do everything, but I'm not trying to push him into anything. Yeah. Like today he wanted to go do jiu-jitsu, but I didn't let him do it because he was a little sick, so. I'm not trying to get all the other kids sick.
So if he chooses to fight, will you be 100% in?
Man. I don't know. He's going to have to spar with his cousins, right? Before he do anything. Right now, he's a little crybaby, but I think once, you know, he gets out of that little stage,
Yeah.
He could be something good.
Nice.
I tell him every day, like, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be a champion. I remember growing up, my mom would always tell me that, I was something special, and that's the reason I fight, because, she said, if you do something, you don't quit it, and so I can't quit it until I'm done, till I can't do it anymore.
You don't quit it until you reach that goal where you feel like you've accomplished everything you're set out to accomplish, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like there's a lot to be accomplished left for you, my dude. I think that, and I remember I told you from day one, I said, I think this guy, I think this guy, there are fighters that have it and there are fighters that have it. And I remember, I think I told you, I said, you got that it factor. And that's a rare thing in MMA. Some people can get to certain levels. I always thought, and the biggest thing is mind in this sport. And I think that's a big, it's not people, not a lot of people have the skills, but not a lot of them have the mind. And what impressed me about you was that you were racking up wins left and right as an amateur. I mean, you were at points, I don't want to say making it look easy, but it would have been easy for you to jump pro and start racking into cash. And that's some people that don't follow MMA closely, that are, a certain demographic. They don't understand. In amateurs, you don't make anything. You don't make a dime. And there were points at times, Drakkar, where, people were, I'm sure, in your ear telling you, time to go pro. And you said, no, I'll go pro when I'm ready.
No, not really. I put all my faith into John Crouch, to be honest. He would tell me when I would fight, you know what I mean? Like, he pretty much managed my career at the beginning, you know what I mean? Like, if he didn't think it was a good matchup, he wouldn't tell me, but he just wouldn't accept the fight, you know what I mean? So, like, there was years where I would just train all year and not get fights, you know what I mean? So, but it is what it is, and it made me better.
And you listen to the right people.
Yeah,
you listen to the ones that had your best interest in mind.
Yeah, Crouch has never steered me in the wrong direction, and even with all that stupid stuff that went on with Fight Ready and all that, it's like, he was right. He told me everything what was going to happen, and I didn't listen, and I had to be a man and let him know that he was right and apologize.
No, that's one of those things. It was one of the learning experiences. You know what I mean? It's sometimes we all have to walk a beaten path before we realize that, what, again, it's one of those, like we mentioned before, you learn from walks that may not go the way we expect them to.
Yeah, I'm just glad that it happened sooner, not later.
Yeah.
Because when if let's just say it never happened, I might not be in the UFC anymore, but I'm happy again. I'm back with my team. We're pushing each other. The vibe in the gym is so great right now, especially when Jarrett gets this win. It's just gonna catapult everyone's energy in there, and we're just gonna keep racking up these wins, and we're gonna still be the best MMA team for the next 10 years to come.
I'm looking forward to seeing that, because I think the lab almost is becoming a point where they're underrated and being a little bit overlooked for the great gym that it is, even though they've been that top of the line. It's like, you follow, I don't know, you follow other sports, right? You follow other sports other than MMA.
Oh, yes, I do.
They've become sort of like the Golden State Warriors were for a couple years in the NBA, where everybody was overlooking them. And all it needed was that one extra championship for people to realize, look, this team's been damn good all along. You don't need a championship to define it. But I think once Jared wins that title, people are going to start saying, look, this gym has always been damn good. We've just been not paying attention to it for reasons why I don't understand.
But that's the thing. They don't overlook us. We want people to overlook us, because when it matters, we're going to walk out victorious.
It's true. Sometimes it is better to be overlooked than it is to be, it's better to be overlooked than dare I say, overlooked and overrated.
Yep, because while they're not training hard, we're in there busting our butts every day. You know, we're there for one another, and we're gonna sit there and push each other. So keep overlooking us, and we're gonna keep winning.
That's the best way I could have put it, man. No truer words have ever been said, Carlos Ortiz. Keep overlooking, and they're going to keep running them down.
Yep.
Well, Drakkar, July 30th, man. Big fight coming up for you. I know you got your son there. I won't keep you away from him too much longer. But you got a shirt. You guys selling there for your upcoming fight that us, Ham and Eggers can get our hands on, so I can show my support here from. I'm not in Phoenix anymore, unfortunately, but I definitely want to rock, my friend.
Where you at now?
I'm in Philly, bro.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's why I haven't seen you around. I didn't know you were out in Philly.
You out this way? You guys come out this way at all?
I will now since I know you're out there.
Oh, let's go. We'll go. I'll take you to a Sixers game, bro.
Let's do it.
You got my digit still, or no? I got to hook you up. I'll get. If you don't, I'll give Penny to get it to you, or Carlos to give it to you.
Okay, yeah, definitely do that for me.
All right, but where can I pick your shirt up, bro? I'm gonna buy one.
I don't have anything yet. I was right now actually getting a design together. So once I get that, I'll make sure I get one over to you.
All right, I'll buy it. You got a son to take care of, so I'll just I'll shoot some cash your way.
Definitely, thank you.
You're the man. All right, Drakkar. Well, hey, real quick, where can we check you out on the social media? I know, but I want the listening audience to make sure they show you that proper respect. And where can we check you out on the social media platforms?
You can find me at Drakkar Klose, at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I really don't use Twitter too much, but Drakkar Klose, DrakkarKlose. July 30th, tune in. I'm about to get this W, get number 15 next to my name, and I don't care who's next, so let's bring it.
Hey, it don't matter. Line him up. He will be knocking him down. My good friend, the man, the myth, the legend, the freak in the cage. I'm not saying anywhere else because we'll have to let your female, your wife, be the one that gives those words. We're boys, but I'll just say we're boys. But you know what? I'll just say he's a freak in the cage, and he's a hell of a good beyond that. Drakkar, my pleasure, bud. Get in touch. Get a hold of me. Send me a text. All right.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Brother. Talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Take care of yourself. All right. Good chat with you again.
Yep.
All right. Have a great day, Jay. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Hey, real quick before we go, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, man. 6 years ago, this world, not just the MMA world, this world suffered an insurmountable loss. I myself suffered a huge loss. This show and everybody affiliated has gone on, but it hasn't been the same. The world has gone on and it hasn't been the same. I will fully say without Ryan Jimmo, this show would not have reached the heights it did. Ryan Jimmo, you all knew was a hell of a fighter. Those of you that listen to this show knew Ryan Jimmo was a hell of a personality, a hell of a host. That guy forgot more about MMA and most topics than any of us will ever know. Present company, myself included. What those of you that didn't follow this show behind the scenes may not have known was outside of all that, Ryan Jimmo was one of the best human beings that you will ever meet. Ryan Jimmo was one of the best friends I've ever had. Ryan Jimmo was one of the greatest human beings I've ever met. Ryan Jimmo would give the shirt off his back for any of his friends, any of his training partners, any of his family. There's not a day that goes by where my friend isn't missed. And there's not a day that goes by where he's not thought about as fondly as he was when he was here. I said it on my Facebook post. And I'll say it here. It's a tragedy that it's gone. It's a fucking travesty that he was stolen from this world. But I promise, like I did at his wake, like I did the day he was taken from us, that he was stolen from us. As long as I have an ounce of breath in my soul, I will keep Ryan Jimmo's name alive. Linda, Paul, Roxy, and everyone that loved Ryan as much as I do. You're all in my thoughts. Ryan, I love you always, my brother. You are one of a kind. And like I said, you will always, always be fabric of this show. You'll always be fabric of my life. And I will keep your name alive as long as I'm here. Love you, brother.
Thanks, Jay.
Good night, bro.
Good night. God bless.
God bless.